Okay, let's dive in. So there's this amazing footage, right? Wild chimpanzees in Guinea-Bissau,
Hmm.
and they're apparently getting into naturally fermented African breadfruit.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating stuff.
But the really wild part, they're sharing it, like communally.
Exactly. And that's the first time we've actually seen that on video with
Hmm.
wild chimps.
Yeah.
It's significant.
Totally hooked me when I read about it. That first ever bit is key.
It really is. We're talking motion-activated cameras capturing something genuinely new,
Yeah.
a social behavior we hadn't documented before.
Right. So for this deep dive, we're really going to focus on this specific behavior. What could it possibly tell us about, the ancient history of something very human sharing a drink?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
And if we zoom out a bit, the sources are this incredible footage from Cantanhas National Park in Guinea-Bissau,
Okay.
and also a study that came out in Current Biology.
Yeah.
So our mission really is to unpack why this discovery matters, how it might connect to our own social evolution, without getting bogged down in too much jargon. Keep it clear for you.
Perfect. All right, so let's set the scene. Hidden cameras, deep in this park, and they catch chimps doing something totally unexpected. What exactly were they up to?
Well, they weren't just eating fermented African breadfruit, that's Trichulia africana, scientifically speaking.
Uh-huh.
They were actively sharing it.
Mm-hmm.
And, fermentation naturally produces ethanol, alcohol.
So not just one chimp having a sneaky taste of something slightly fizzy.
Nope, it looked like a group thing, a communal event.
Really? That changes the picture.
It does. This is the first documented instance of wild chimpanzees engaging in this kind of shared consumption of naturally alcoholic food.
Wow. And how often did they catch this?
The cameras recorded it happening 10 separate times.
10 times. Okay, so that really suggests it's like a regular thing for them, not just some random fluke.
Precisely. It points towards a pattern, a potentially established behavior.
And having it on video, I mean, that's hard evidence, isn't it? You can see it happening.
Exactly. The footage gives us undeniable proof this is happening in their natural habitat.
No, I remember reading this ties into an existing idea, something called the drunken monkey hypothesis. Sounds intriguing.
Does, doesn't it? Basically, the hypothesis suggests that our ancestors, primate ancestors, developed an attraction to the smell and taste of ethanol in overripe fermenting fruit.
Okay, why?
Well, the idea is that this attraction gave them an evolutionary edge. Fermented fruit is packed with calories, a concentrated energy source.
Ah, right. More bang for your buck, nutritionally speaking.
Kind of. And the fermentation process itself can break down some complex plant compounds, potentially making the food easier to digest and maybe even unlocking more nutrients. That would have been a real advantage.
So a liking for what we'd call booze might have actually helped early primates survive and thrive by pointing them towards high-energy, easily digestible food.
That's the core concept, yes. And seeing these chimps in Guinea-Bissau seemingly deliberately consuming and, importantly, sharing fermented fruit, well, it lends some real-world weight to that hypothesis.
Okay, so the energy boost and easier digestion make evolutionary sense. But let's circle back to the social part, the sharing. That feels different, especially when we think about humans and alcohol.
That's where it gets really interesting, linking it back to us. One of the researchers, Anna Boland, made a great point.
Yeah.
She noted how, for humans, drinking alcohol triggers dopamine and endorphins in the brain, the feel-good chemical.
Right, leading to feelings of happiness, relaxation,
Oh.
the social lubricant effect we sometimes talk about.
Exactly that. And she connected it to how sharing alcohol is so embedded in human social traditions. Think feasting, celebration.
Uh-huh. It's often central to bonding, right? Strengthening social ties.
Precisely. Which leads to the massive question this research raises. Could these chimpanzees be getting similar social benefits from sharing this boozy fruit?
Could it be their way of sort of biologically reinforcing their social connections?
It's a really compelling possibility. And it's something the researchers are definitely looking into. Dr. Kimberly Hawkins also pointed out something important.
What's that?
Chimpanzees don't just share food willy-nilly. It's actually, well, it's not that common. They're quite selective about it.
Right, I've heard that. Food sharing isn't automatic for them, so the fact they are sharing the specific food, the fermented fruit,
Suggests it might hold particular social importance for them. It
Yeah.
signals that maybe this isn't just about calories.
maybe it's about reinforcing relationships or easing group tensions, something more complex.
It could be any or all of those things. We're just scratching the surface, really. It implies this behavior might be deeply woven into their social fabric in ways we don't fully understand yet.
It definitely makes you picture it, doesn't it? A little primate happy hour with fermented breadfruit.
It's a fun image, but it does lead to the serious questions the researchers want to tackle next.
Like,
Like, are the chimpanzees deliberately seeking out these foods because they're fermented? Is it an intentional choice?
okay. Intentionality versus just stumbling upon it.
Exactly. And also, how well do they metabolize the alcohol? Are they getting, tipsy? Or are their bodies just efficient at processing it for energy?
Those are crucial questions. If they are actively looking for it, that really ups the significance, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And understanding the metabolism side could tell us more about the evolutionary pressures and benefits.
Okay, and this leads to another really big idea they floated, right? Something about feasting.
Yes. This is maybe the most intriguing connection. The researchers proposed that this communal sharing and consumption of fermented fruit, it could actually represent a very early primitive form of what we humans call feasting.
Wow, hold on. So these chimp get-togethers, they could be like the ancient precursor to our big holiday dinners or celebratory banquets.
That's the provocative idea, yes. It suggests that a social tradition as fundamental to humans as feasting might have roots stretching back way further than we thought, deep into our shared evolutionary history with other apes.
That really reframes how you think about something like a simple shared meal or drink. It could be millions of years old in principle.
It's a profound implication. If this connection holds, it suggests some of our most cherished social rituals have incredibly ancient origins.
Okay, so let's try and boil this down for you listening. Key takeaway number one. We have solid evidence now. Wild chimps in Guinea-Bissau are eating naturally fermented alcoholic fruit.
And number two, crucially, they're not just eating it solo, they're actively sharing it within the group.
Right. And this observation provides some interesting potential support for the old drunken monkey hypothesis, the idea that liking ethanol gave an evolutionary calorie boost.
But maybe even more compelling is takeaway three, the possible link between this natural alcohol consumption and social bonding in primates.
Yeah, opening the door to the idea that this is a really early evolutionary stage of social traditions that are so core to humans, like social drinking and feasting.
Exactly. It gives us genuinely new insights into how naturally occurring ethanol might function in primate social systems, and maybe even points to the very origins of social drinking itself.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we've definitely hit some aha moments. There's the actual documented evidence, the chimp drinking sessions, if you will.
Then there's how it seems to back up that drunken monkey idea about evolution and calories.
And maybe the biggest one, that mind-bending possibility that this is where human feasting traditions might have first begun, in a really primal form.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about how deep the evolutionary roots of some behaviors we think of as uniquely human might actually be.
Absolutely. It leaves you wondering what other complex social things we do, things we think make us us, might actually have surprisingly ancient beginnings way back in the animal kingdom.
Perhaps it's something for you to think about. Maybe delve a bit deeper into primate behavior, the evolution of sociality.
There's a lot out there.
Definitely food for thought. Thanks for exploring the deep with us.